Attention to brief. Welcome to the briefing room. My name is Matt Bowman, and I'm your co-host for the briefing room. My other co-host is Dr. Tyrone Taborn, one of the world's leading thinkers in technology, artificial intelligence, STEM education, and workforce development. This is a show by warriors for warriors. Listen, I spent the first 20 years of my life flying jets off aircraft carriers, doing bad things to bad people. And now this show is to take all those experiences in human performance and raise the bar. That is what we're about. We bring you pioneers, some of the first to do it and some of the best to do it in military, in aviation, in technology, in STEM, and entrepreneurship. Who is our audience? Who are you who are listening? Mostly, it's the 50,000 professionals, engineers, scientists, technologists, researchers who make up the BEA community. Somebody once asked me, what is a BEA? BEA is a community of 50,000 professionals who are part of the Becoming Everything You Are movement. And that's what we are. We are a movement. It consists of 17 HBCU schools of engineering. It consists of all of the major government contractors. It consists of government agencies, Department of Defense. Everyone is involved in the BEA movement. Our show today is going to do two things. One, I'm going to take you around the world, around the whole world in 7 minutes. And then after that, I'm going to introduce you to one of the world's top artificial intelligence educators. This woman is a hidden figure. There will be movies about her. There will be books about her. And today on our show, you're going to meet her. I'm going to save that part for last. So as I get ready to go around the world in 7 minutes, I want you to get a good understanding of what does it mean to be part of the BEA community. 40 years of excellence in performance. And then you will see what it means to be BEA in the commercial that's about to play. Let's roll it. All right. And as we wait to roll that BEA commercial, I'm going to go right around the world in 7 minutes. So there's two big stories that are going on right now. And let's talk first about the United States. In Minnesota, recent killings, deaths of American citizens has sparked protests in the Twin Cities. Those protests have reached the highest levels of government and really are shots that were heard around the world. So as we are veterans and as we're part of the BEA community, we need to keep close watch on everything that goes on in Minnesota so that we can make sure that as we go into 2026 and 2027 in the midterms, that all those factors come into play. When you look at the videos kind of speak for themselves. But as in all things, I've seen the same video and shown it to different people and got whole different perspectives. So for those of us who are part of the briefing room, I want you to continue to engage with people who think differently than you so that you can really understand the world that we live in. The second major issue that is happening in the world today is China. So we're going to leave from North America and now we're going to Asia. This picture says 1,000 words. So China just did a purge of two of its most important military generals. The Chinese president fired them, arguably without cause, and that has sent shockwaves through the Chinese military and the Chinese political establishment. As you can see, President Xi Jinping is walking and everyone is clapping, but the general is looking at his briefing papers. And those of you who've worn the cloth of the nation know that whether you're the United States or whether you're China, the military leaders tend to bring the facts to a situation. They tend to speak truth to power. And that is why veterans are the most trusted professionals in every single country around the world. Now, I don't know what he was doing, but this picture has made its rounds around the internet. This picture is part of the reason that he was sacked because he was in many many circles, speaking truth to power and not necessarily towing the party line to the extent that the president of China thought that he should be towing the party line. Nevertheless, I think that all of us who are in uniform, who've worn uniform, all of us who strive to be excellence, know that at all times, you should bring your whole self to work and speak truth to power. And no matter what happens, you can sleep easy at night. And as my mentor used to say, you can look yourself in the mirror. The second big issue that's going on in Asia is China is experiencing a population decline. They are projected to go from 1.4 billion people to the largest population decline in the history of the world. They're expected to lose over the next 100 years 600 million citizens, to go from 1.4 billion to around 0.8 billion, 800 million persons in China. Can you be a major global world power with those kind of population declines? Yet to be determined, but it is something that all of our listeners need to be aware of. So as we watch China challenge and try to challenge the United States in technology, prowess, and artificial intelligence, there are some issues internal to China that you should be aware of. Let's go real quick to Europe. The Ukraine-Russia peace talks, trilateral peace talks, Ukraine, Russia, United States, just wrapped up in Abu Dhabi. No major movements there, but we will all stay hopeful that the Ukraine-Russia conflict can come to an end. Gaza. In Gaza, Israel has just received the last remains of the 255 hostages that were taken during the October 7th attack by Hamas in Israel. That ends phase one of the Israeli Gaza peace deal. We now go into phase two, which will be opening up the borders at Rafah, Egypt, and then allowing for more humanitarian aid. And then the elephant in the room is the full disarmament of Hamas. So that phase two begins now, and we'll see how that goes. As we progress around the world, in Africa, the most rapidly growing continent on the earth, U.S. engagement in that region must continue to stay strong, but partnerships and realignment between China, between Russia, between India, and then also inter-country treaties between African nations are all shaping the strategic landscape. And then the last is the Pacific Theater. China still has eyes towards Taiwan. The Japanese Prime Minister has spoken very, very, very strongly that will not happen. And Japan is continuing to increase their military expenditures to combat a rising threat from China. So there we go. Around the world in 7 minutes. I now want to talk about Career Day. Career Day and the young people who are going to make this country and keep this country where it needs to be in 2060. Every second Saturday of the month, they talk about careers, they bring on guests, and we have an advertisement that describes the Baya Career Day. So I want you to listen to this advertisement, and if you have a young college student who would like to be a part of Career Day, after they hear this commercial, contact us.
Calling all future STEM pioneers, leaders, and career champions. Join us on every second Saturday of the month for the Baya Career Day. Baya STEM Career Day is all about creating opportunities for students to venture into the world of STEM through the eyes of professionals. You'll meet mentors and presenters that will give you a sneak peek into the many options available to you in the field of STEM. Hosted by teen ambassadors, you'll find yourself among inspiring peers just like yourself that are aiming high for their future. To take part in the Baya STEM Career Day on Zoom, visit fullstemahead.us and register for the next session. Again, that's fullstemahead.us. Baya, becoming everything you are.
A world of careers unleashed. You can get it at Baya. Become everything you are.
All right, welcome back to the briefing room. I can barely contain my excitement about our guest today. Everywhere you go, you hear two words: artificial intelligence. Scares the hell out of most people, but not our guest today. Our guest today is one of the world's top educators in artificial intelligence. The University of Florida is a top 25 research institution in the world. She was the Artificial Intelligence Teacher of the Year. She was the International Teacher of the Year in Artificial Intelligence. So it's not just the United States. Her reputation in her work is international. I cannot do her justice. It's just not possible. But I'm going to run this quick commercial so that you can see and get a sense of the kind of woman that we have on the show today. Let's roll that commercial.
I don't just like to stand up and lecture. I like engagement. I like interactivity. I like to get you thinking. I like to get you motivated. I like to get you inspired. My name is Sanethia Thomas, and I'm a professor at University of Florida. I teach computer science courses, and I also lead study abroad programs. I am a Black woman in computer science. Computers were changing the world. And I knew that I can have a greater effect on people using computer science and AI. I'm a former athlete turned computer scientist, so I'm able to speak to students that have the dream to go pro, but also develop something that is outside of sports, that is innate within themselves. My message is to encourage you to do things outside of yourself. Making someone's day, sharing a smile, or doing something as big as creating a whole software platform that can change a continent.
All right. And with no further ado, I'd like to welcome to the briefing room, Dr. Drumroll please, Sanethia Thomas.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much, Matt. And thank you for the briefing room for having me. This is exciting.
Absolutely. We're super excited to have you, Doc. I mean, a professional athlete, a researcher, a teacher of the year, instructor of the year. I mean, incredible. So I'm going to go right into it. You know, I always like knowing the backstory. I like to reel it back. Okay. Tell me about your family. Tell me about your grandparents, where you're from. What do the parents who are listening need to do to make, or the grandparents even, to make a Dr. Sanethia Thomas? So
that's a great question. And I really want to start with my great grandmother. I found letters. She was a slave, and I found handwritten letters, and I found her freedom papers that she wrote as well. And so that really spoke to me that she sown seeds of that she was educated as a slave. And we all know the history of how we were not allowed to learn how to read and write. And so me finding those notes of handwritten notes from her really just impacted my life like none other. And I found those 3 months after I got my PhD.
What?
Yeah, that was absolutely amazing. So I'm writing a book about it, but my grandparents always instilled education in their 10 children. And my mother was the baby of 10 children.
And what, Doc, what state is this that you're coming from? Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina? Where are they coming from?
My grandmother was from Arkansas, and my grandfather was from Tennessee, and I was born in East Chicago, Indiana.
East Chicago, Indiana. You know, I spent a lot of time in Hammond and Gary, Indiana. Okay. I used to be the king of Gary, Indiana.
Okay.
And, so East Chicago, tell me about growing up in East Chicago, Indiana. What was that like?
Yeah, I was there from 0 to 4. But I was raised in California, and it's a really unique story. At the time, the number 5 son of my grandparents was having a child, and his wife passed away giving birth. And at the same time, my mother was going through a really horrible divorce with my father. So my Uncle Larry said, let's raise the children together in California. Beautiful story, changed my life. And so at 4, I relocated to California, and I was raised there, which really brought a lot of expansion, a lot of opportunity, things that I did not see that were in California that were not in East Chicago, Indiana, right next to Gary, Indiana.
You know, I have a book. It's called this Rekindling the Spirit of the Village.
Okay.
And so that story that you just shared
Yeah.
of families coming together
Yes.
is a tradition in the South and probably really all over the world of
Mhm.
bringing families together. But I think it's kind of a cheat code. So tell me, what was it like growing up in a family, community, mutual support environment?
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And so, like I mentioned, my grandparents had 10.
Mhm.
And in the household that I was growing up, it was my mother's sister came along, my uncle, all from the same DNA.
Wow.
So all the morals and the values, I got triple fold. And my grandparents did such an amazing job in instilling morals and values and education and just civic duty and curiosity and ambition into all of us. And so I was able to get that and be a part of a really tight community and be able to express that in my community.
Was there anything that stuck out about what was the one thing that stuck out about your grandparents to you that you would like to share with the audience?
Yeah, so my grandparents were so loving and they were known around East Chicago. My grandfather was a pillar in the church. He put brick in the church, like he built the church. And so I always, when I would go home for summer vacations, it was understanding the relationship that we had with the church, that foundation and faith that really instilled it. And so I remember my grandmother being really kind-hearted and soft, but if you mess up, she gonna grab that ear and pinch it, you know. And so I remember that there was a lot of love, but a lot of discipline and a lot of just nurturing to be the best that you can be. And so with the little that they had, they provided a lot for us.
I hear three things, and I'm hopeful for the day, looking forward for the day when I'm a grandparent. And
Okay.
so for those grandparents out there, three things really stick out. Number one is faith.
Yes.
Number two is love.
Yes.
Then number three is discipline.
Yes.
So, a lot of people, especially a lot of Black people, go to church. A lot of them love their families. I'm not sure that enough is talked about in terms of discipline. And I like how you talked about her discipline.
Mhm.
Even her discipline was wrapped in love.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. Even though we run away, so we can miss that, she'll grab us, but she'll also grab us and hug us, right? And so that's big mama, you just wrap all in it. And so you feel that good loving that she would give. And she also nurtured us. She was at home, and so we had meals throughout the day, and she was there. And that's also something that is missed as well, because a lot of families, the parents are dropping them off and coming home late, and so there's not a lot of family time, which was really prioritized in our family. Thank God.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. I always talk on this show about Domino One.
Okay.
The first moment when you realized that you wanted to be in computer science or to be artificial intelligence. Not a lot of people coming out of East Chicago go into AI. Not a lot of people coming from anywhere in Florida or Indiana or even California, for that matter, go into artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us, when was the moment, either in school or at home, when you realized that you were going to go into computer science?
Yeah, absolutely. So I played basketball, and I knew basketball was going to get me to college. And at that time, that was before the WNBA. So I had to really make that strategic. And I knew at that time, computers were going to take over the world. So I didn't know how I wanted to be involved, but I knew that I wanted to be involved in computers. It wasn't until I was going to get my PhD that moment really was defined for me by having a conversation of just understanding the opportunities that are available in computer science. And so I had one conversation with Dr. Juan Gilbert, and that changed the trajectory of my life. And so I always say, never undermine the small interactions that you have, because that can really literally change your life. And so he proposed that I mix my love for basketball, my love for sports, and computer science and do something big with that. And I took it and ran.
Wow. One of the previous guests said to me, not only is every conversation an interview, every observation is an interview. And there are some names that you will hear in this professional community. Dr. Juan Gilbert is one of those. So I don't want to bypass the importance of Dr. Gilbert. Share with those who don't know. The Bay Area community knows him, right? But with those who may not know about this man, talk a bit about his character, his ethic, and what he has done for computer science in this country.
Yeah. So when I first met him, I really didn't understand the landscape of how a doctoral degree worked. And so I made a cold call to him and just asked to have a meeting. So even in that, right, for him to accept my meeting speaks volumes. And so we sat and we talked, and we were just talking about sports and things like that. And so he connected the dots, which I'm so grateful for. And so I ended up becoming his student, and he was my advisor. And amazing man, very smart, very passionate about education, very passionate about minority education in terms of his lab was the leading lab to have the most women PhD students in computer science in the world. And so that was strategic. That wasn't by happenstance. And so the fact that I have his phone number and I can just call him and talk to him about, did you see that game last night? And then the next conversation, he can say, you need to publish in this journal. You need to strategically place yourself here is very, very valuable. And I really appreciate the time that he takes to nurture his students. And so now he has been recognized by President Biden, President Obama. He received national medals of awards from them, and he's on the White House Council for AI and technology and computer science. And so he just transitioned out of the chair of the computer science department here at UF, and now he sits on that level advising the country on computer science and AI.
This show is about raising the bar.
Yes.
And there was an organization when I was a child. It's called Mensa. And so you go in there and you take the test.
Okay.
It's called the Connect the Dots test.
Yes.
And there are two people who I know would blow that test away.
Okay.
You are one of them, and
Okay.
Dr. Juan Gilbert is the other.
Oh,
Just
wow.
have an ability to look at a bunch of dots on a blank piece of paper that, to most people, 99% of people in the world see nothing. But those who have that really great math and science skill,
thank you,
pops out. They can connect the dots. And so, you two, my hat is off to you. I would take it off, but my hat is off to you for being able to connect the dots.
Thank you. Thank you.
The athlete part.
Yeah.
For us on the in the naval aviation side, physical health is critical for all of the special forces across Department of Defense and really across the world. Physical fitness, command presence, getting it done. So talk a little bit about your love of sports and how physical readiness and physical preparedness helps you succeed in STEM.
Yeah, absolutely. My uncle put a basketball in my hand when I was 8 years old and put a basketball hoop in the driveway. And so I became the tallest person on the team. I was the only girl on the team. And so having learned the skill set that comes from teamwork, collaboration, strategic thinking, positioning, resilience, all of those transferable skills I've learned since I've been playing sports since 8 years old has really carried me in how I operate and move in life. And so dealing with computer science and solving problems, understanding where to position myself on the court to get the best advantage to grab the ball, it's how can I position myself in terms of writing my code so I can develop the best software to offer to the masses? Or how can I create a program, as I've done with the study abroad, to really position myself to create and to develop technologies to affect over 65,000 people. And so having that fortitude to be able to stand and hold my ground having the same fortitude to stick with the code if it doesn't work the first time, or it works the second time, is something that I've learned from sports. And so I'm a big advocate of putting young people in sports, because it can teach you a lot of things of how to be successful in life and how to navigate through life.
You know, I hear you loud and clear: teamwork, collaboration, hard work.
Yes.
Talk to us about, you know, when people might hear this and think, you know, for Dr. Thomas, everything was, as one sailor once told me, cookies and gumdrops. Were there any challenges that you, either as an athlete or as a student, that you faced in high school or college that you had to overcome, that might inspire people to also face their challenges?
Absolutely. I remember, so my undergrad is information technology out of the business school. Okay. It still had its hand in technology. And in 2008, I got laid off. I was working as a government contractor at the time. And during that financial crisis, I got laid off. And so I sat there and said, what do I really love? And I created a mind map on the ground, and I put myself in the middle, and I had leadership, I had computers, I had sports, I had all of this, and I tried to connect the dots. When I went and had my meeting with Dr. Gilbert, he was the chair of the computer science department. I thought I wanted to get my PhD in education. So after that conversation, he challenged me to go into computer science. But I didn't have the basic programming classes like everyone else have learned in their undergraduate and master's career. So I'm going into this PhD program without the foundational programming classes, taking grad school classes. There was a lot of long nights and hard times that I had to teach myself how to just do basic coding. And so outside of my grad curriculum, I was at the same time teaching myself computer science, coding, taking courses online, understanding things that my peers knew secondhand. And so that was a really tough time for me to push through, because it was my second career and I was kind of restarting in life, but then I restarted in a negative compared to everybody else. If you think about, if you're on the track and everyone starts at the line to run the race, I was 20 feet behind him.
You're 20.
And he shot and I had to, yes. And I was on my grind for a good 3 years of learning how to do things on my own. But I had a really good support system in the lab. And that is the environment that was curated by Dr. Gilbert. My peers really came in and helped me. And so I felt like I was not alone. And a lot of times students may feel alone, especially in grad school.
Wow. And so then, there's, as I look around the room, there actually is a big elephant in the room.
Okay.
And the elephant in the room is this: is artificial intelligence going to replace me? Is artificial intelligence going to make my children's education worthless? You're an educator, International Educator of the Year. Talk to me about AI.
Absolutely. And that fear is really real, because we see a lot of automation happening with AI replacing jobs. But what I would like to try to help people understand is that AI can bring a lot of critical thinking. It can nurture that. Computers aren't taught to think. We are taught to think by the results of the computer. And so the results that AI is giving us allows us as humans to be able to think that much higher, conclude things that we wouldn't normally be able to conclude. And so understanding how to walk hand in hand with AI. So if that job is replaced, then what is my next move, and what can I learn, and how can I position myself back into being relevant and valuable? Working hand in hand with AI, drawing conclusions, understanding large language models, understanding the data set, just really shifting my perspective in how I move and how I work in the world. so I can work in tandem with this powerful, powerful concept of AI.
You know, I'm so glad that you addressed that elephant in the room. Susan Taylor, former editor of Essence, once told me, Matt, I don't do fear. And not only do I not do fear, I don't do people who do fear.
Okay.
So to everyone who's listening, please listen to what Dr. Thomas just said. We in the briefing room do not do fear, and we don't do people who do fear. Right. So embrace artificial intelligence. We think artificial intelligence is really the pathway to success in the next 10 to 15 years. So what I'm going to do now is I want to go back to this Bea ecosystem that can support you as you go into your journey, for all of our listeners as you go into your journey. And then once we come back from this Bea commercial, we're going to learn how Dr. Thomas is taking everything that she knows and going on to explore other opportunities in AI and in computer science. So let's go to the Bea commercial.
It's the moment in your eyes when the future becomes clear.
40 years ago, a vision was born. To break barriers, to celebrate brilliance.
The hopes of what's in reach.
From pioneers to innovators to tomorrow's dreamers, Bea has changed the landscape of STEM forever. Great minds, great people, great futures. Join us for Bea 40. Don't just watch history, be part of it. Bea, becoming everything you are.
Become everything you are.
All right, welcome back to the briefing room. I'm your host, Matt Bowman. And as part of our teaser for this show on Instagram and Facebook and social media, we used a song by that late, great tech prophet Jay-Z, Public Service Announcement. And that public service announcement is so powerful because it speaks to leveraging everything you got to make your dreams come true. So Dr. Thomas is not just an internationally renowned AI educator, not just an internationally renowned AI instructor, but she's also an entrepreneur. So Dr. Thomas, talk to us about that symbol that's behind you, Second Shot, and then let's talk about what it takes to be an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
In greater depth.
Yeah. So Second Shot is a company that I formed, birthed out of my experience. So as I mentioned, I was an athlete and I understood how D1 athletics worked. So I played for University of Texas, D1 athlete, and playing at that level requires time, requires commitment. You're on the road, you have practices, you have games. And a lot of times, if not most times, the development of career and in terms of after I play sport is lost. And so I created this company that starts as early as middle school to help athletes identify themselves as being more than just an athlete. And so we are multifaceted people. And although I was a beast on the court, there was also a talent for math and science in me that I discovered. And so that's what I do with students. I help them discover other skill sets that they have. And so Second Shot is a play on words. When you approach the foul line, you shoot that first shot. The second one is more strategic. If you are punting a field goal and they call timeout, you got to kick it again. And that's more well thought, more focused, and more planned. And so what we do is we focus on that second shot, which is life after sport, after transition, so we can have a well thought out plan in place when you're ready to transition. And that may look as discovering careers that you may not be aware of, that is having your resume built, writing goals, seeing other people do it, because there are a lot of successful former athletes in various industries doing really good work. So having that visual, that role model theory embedded in my system is also a plus. We have mock interview modules. And it's gamified. That's the biggest thing.
Gamified. That's what I like about it.
Gamified, right? And so it captures the culture, it captures the essence, and it speaks to the students to help them realize I am more than an athlete, and I will be prepared for my second shot after my first shot of sports is done with.
The multiple streams of income, you see it everywhere. Those who are faith-based will look in Ecclesiastes 11:2 and say, you should have 7 streams of income. Yeah, even 8 streams of income is even better. Right. So when you come to Bea, when you come to the Becoming Everything You Are community, these are the kind of leaders, and this is the kind of information that you're going to get. Okay. So not only are you going to get career development inside the Bea ecosystem, everyone inside the ecosystem has spokes of opportunities, and these spokes of opportunities are like Second Shot.
Yes.
It's Second Shot. Is it an app? Is it online? How do people engage with Second Shot?
It is an AI software platform that's available online. On the web, you can type in yoursecondshot.com and it'll bring it right up, and you can access the platform that way. We are also on the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. You can download it and do it right from your phone. And so we are in all ecosystems, online and on mobile.
And then who in business, we always talk about, the target market. Who can really leverage Second Shot? Who would use it, and how would they use it?
There's different categories. We're going after schools and organizations. So we're starting as early as middle school, going all the way up to the university level, and any athlete developing, serving organization. But the app is just not for athletes. What we found that it is really beneficial to military that are transitioning back into that civilian life. They have all the skill sets they've learned in the military that the app can really highlight and bring to the forefront, and then connect them to transition into their next play in life. So it helps anyone really who's in transition, any student. But it was birthed out of my vision as an athlete, but it's for anyone who is really looking to take themselves to the next level.
Wow. Well, Second Shot really aligns so perfectly with work that Dr. Tyrone Taborn has done. Okay. And he has built a 2D metaverse. He has classes and soft skills at the Becoming Everything You Are conference and the Waves of Change conference. Mm-hmm. And so the complement is kind of a conga line of committed, smart people who are changing the world. And your Second Shot app and your Second Shot platform is changing the world.
Yes.
How does AI work with Second Shot? What does AI powered mean to, let's say, a 5-year-old? What does that mean?
Yeah, so this work was actually birthed out of my dissertation. So my PhD is in human-centered computing. And what that is, it's a derivative of computer science, but it considers psychology and cognitive science. So I have all of that culture embedded within the platform. But when I say it's AI powered, I have the AI intelligence working on the back end, taking the interactions that the user give and the user supplies to the system and making intelligent recommendations based on that.
I have, thousands of high school and college students who participate and listen to our Career Day broadcast. I think that this kind of technology, coupled with everything that we're doing at Becoming Everything You Are and at Career Communications Group, all of it works together. So we're going to go real quick to a Bea Stars and Stripes Career Day commercial. And then when we come back, we're going to learn more about artificial intelligence and the road ahead. Stay tuned.
Calling all future STEM pioneers, leaders, and career champions. Join us on every second Saturday of the month for the Bea Career Day. Bea STEM Career Day is all about creating opportunities for students to venture into the world of STEM through the eyes of professionals. You'll meet mentors and presenters that will give you a sneak peek into the many options available to you in the field of STEM. Hosted by teen ambassadors, you'll find yourself among inspiring peers just like yourself that are aiming high for their future. To take part in the Bea STEM Career Day on Zoom, visit fullstemahead.us and register for the next session. Again, that's fullstemahead.us. Bea, becoming everything you are.
A world of careers unleashed. You can get it at Baya. Become everything you are.
All right, welcome back to the briefing room. My name is Matt Bowman. I'm your co-host. My co-host, Dr. Tyrone Taborn, believes in three things: artificial intelligence, quantum, and workforce development, and the intersection of all those things. My guest today, Dr. Sanethia Thomas, is an international award-winning educator in artificial intelligence. She's the University of Florida Artificial Intelligence Teacher of the Year. She is doing big things, both entrepreneurial, on the research side, and on the instruction side. So we're just excited to have her. Doc, I have a question for you. When you talk about applied artificial intelligence versus research artificial intelligence, what do you think the future holds for the next 10 years? Like, how is AI going to change the world?
That's a great question. Thank you for that. And I alluded to it earlier when I talked about being a partner with the technology. So we're taking AI as a tool, not just using it as a tool, but making it our teammate, right? And so we're working in tandem, understanding the information that's coming out of it, having big, large data sets being made sense for our consumption, being to generative AI, making agentic AI. So it's not just an assistance, but it's also autonomous to be able to really quickly do large amounts of task work that would take us a large amount of time to do, a long amount of time to do. And so where AI is headed, it's really understanding how to work with it, not folding and being scared of where it's going to take over, but we are still steering that ship.
You know,
How to
Doc,
do that.
you said ship, and we have an artificial intelligence cruise that's coming up in October of 2026. It's a AI-centered cruise, and I love it when you use all those big words, because I was sitting there thinking, okay, agentic, generative. I was like, what in the hell is she talking about? But I love all those big words, and I think that when we get all the world's smart people in AI on that cruise ship leaving out of New York heading to Bermuda, I think if you all go to one side of that ship's going to lean, because I mean, you guys are like the. So what are some other terms that our listeners should know? Because we like to inform our listeners. Give me 3 terms that you think everyone should know about artificial intelligence, and then tell us what in the world do they mean.
Sure. I will start with machine learning. A lot of people are, what is AI? What is AI? They're just tossing AI around and not understanding the basic of it. And it's basically taking large data sets, feeding it into a machine so the machine can learn the connection points and then spitting it back out to us in an intelligent way. So that's machine learning. You have large language models.
What is that?
So you have large data sets, large language models, where you can create different you can train the computer to give different types of prompts and get returned information pulling from different language models to make sense. So if you query, or if you make a request to Chat GPT, it's pulling from a lot of different language models that have been fed into this one machine.
So it's not like 1985 or 1986 when I had to learn BASIC or Pascal or Fortran. You mean I can tell a machine to program something for me, and it could just like understand what I'm saying in English and actually do that for me?
Absolutely. And that's another big term that I wanted to share is prompt engineering. That's becoming really popular. And basically that's understanding how to request the proper prompt to the machine to get what you need. prompt engineering has become a whole field. There's training on it because you can really create a lot of things with the correct request.
All right, so I'm sitting at at one of the Ivy League schools, up north, freezing right now as they have a polar cyclone going on, and I'm a liberal arts major, so I'm not one of these STEM people like we talk about at Bea or Waves of Change. What would you say to a student who might be majoring in English creative writing, might be majoring in French literature? Where do they fall into a world like this?
Absolutely. And University of Florida is doing a great job enrolling AI across the university. And so we have a certificate program that you can take to understand the basics of AI. So what I would suggest to a student that's not in computer science, that's in a different type of major, to jump in a course to learn the basics about AI, because AI touches everything in the world. And so you need a basic understanding. So I say take a certificate course, get online and learn some things, get on YouTube and learn some things about it, because you really could use it to help you enhance your field.
Now, I'm going to tell you, everyone's going to swear that this was like a plant. I did not tell you to say that.
Okay.
You said that on your own.
I did.
Those of you who are on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Becoming Everything You Are has a certificate program in artificial intelligence. So let's say you're not in, the world's greatest city. You're not in Gainesville, Florida. You're someplace else in the world. If you come to Becoming Everything You Are conference, you can get a certificate in artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And in one weekend, it can change your life.
Amazing.
You can have the basic understanding of what it means when people say AI.
Mm-hmm.
If you go on that cruise ship and get connected to all these super smart, brilliant people, then you'll be getting probably about a 4-year education in 5 days on artificial intelligence. So I'm with you on that, leveraging other ways to learn the technology and learn how to be a good, I think you use the word teammate.
Yeah.
Learn how to be a good teammate with the technology.
Absolutely.
All right. So we have 2 minutes left.
Okay.
We've talked about your past. We've talked about your present. We've talked about your near-term future. We're all going to have eyes on you. We're all going to be watching you. What does 20 years from now hold for Dr. Sanethia Thomas?
20 years puts me at 66. And I'm going to still be making change, making waves. My contribution, I was going to say small, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say my contribution to this world is going to continue to make ripples throughout the entire world. And so I'm going to still be doing it.
I love it. I love it. This is what this show is about. People who are committed to raising the bar and doing it. Yes. Dr. Thomas, this has been just a wonderful show. Thank you for being on the briefing room. And we look forward to hearing how Second Shot does. Buy stock now, invest in Second Shot. Yes. If you're an institution or a business and you're looking to partner with D1 athletes, I don't know, all the big shoe companies, all the big shirt companies, you all need to tap in and connect with Dr. Thomas. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Matt, for having me.
Absolutely. All right. So we've come to the end of another fantastic show at the briefing room. I hope that our guest today inspired you to change your life, to upgrade your life. She said that she was a beast on the basketball court, but she's also a beast in life. She's a beast in artificial intelligence. She's a beast in entrepreneurship. And I want you to increase your life and go to beast mode. Again, my name is Matt Bowman. You have been watching The Briefing Room. If you need to tap in with Dr. Tyrone Taborn, come to Becoming Everything You Are next month in Baltimore, Maryland. We'll have the top people in the military, the top people in technology, and the top entrepreneurs in the world. Let's roll out with our commercial, the 40th year of Bea.
The moment in your eyes when the future becomes clear.
40 years ago, a vision was born. To break barriers, to celebrate brilliance.
The hopes of what's in reach.
From pioneers to innovators to tomorrow's dreamers, Bea has changed the landscape of STEM forever. Great minds, great people, great futures. Join us for Bea 40. Don't just watch history, be part of it. Bea, becoming everything you are.
Become everything you are.